Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening back down in Texas. But my name is Jeff Hall. I'm the coordinator for the Multicultural Center at the Rock Creek campus at Portland Community College. I appreciate you all joining us this evening for our virtual college tour, our panel session. And tonight we have a great guest, which is Mr. St. Clair, Hayward St. Clair from Prairie A&M University in Prairie, Texas. And Prairie A&M is a HBCU, a historical Black college university. And Mr. St. Clair is here to just detail us about the culture on campus, in addition to the academic, the academic opportunities that will be available to students that's interested in transferring to Prairie and A&M. This entire session will be recorded. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. I would like to now pass it on to Dr. Meek to introduce our guest on this evening and this afternoon. And Dr. Meek, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon, everyone. As Jeff stated, my name is Dr. Clifford C. Meeks. I'm the assistant coordinator for the Sylvania Multicultural Center. I'm also the lead coordinator for our Men of Color Leadership Program. I'm pleased to be a part of today's event. I want all of us to welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Hayward St. Clair, one of the prominent recruiters from Prairie View A&M University, located in Prairie View, Texas. And for those of you who can see my video, yes, I am a proud alumnus of Prairie View A&M University. And Mr. St. Clair is going to continue to introduce themselves and then provide a brief presentation and take any questions around the academic offerings that Prairie View has, as well as scholarship opportunities and the like. So with that said, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Hayward St. Clair, and I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Hayward St. Clair, Senior University Recruiter, here where the hills of purple and gold are flourishing. And we send you welcome from our Dr. Ruth Simmons, our first African-American woman president in the history of this glorious HBCU. We're going to have fun, guys. I'm going to give you pertinent information in regards to Prairie View A&M University, which is one of the 105 historically Black college universities here in the United States. We are one of the 9 HBCUs here in the state of Texas. So rules of engagement, there aren't any. Whatever questions you guys have, feel free to ask after the presentation. It's going to be a very informative presentation. Hopefully it will answer many of your questions. And if not, we'll open the floor up afterwards. So I'm going to kind of fly through it. If you need me to go back to it or reference back to it at the end, that is no problem. Again, I'm here to provide information on one of the 105, the great 105 HBCUs here in the United States. So without much further ado, we'll go ahead and it's all good. See, this is what I love about this. This brings the personal and the humanistic side to these presentations. So what I said, it just was, thank you for having me here. Representing A&M University, one of the 105 HBCUs here in the United States, one of the 9 here in the state of Texas. So I'm glad to be here to share information. As I was saying, the rules of engagement, we have no rules. I'm here to provide you guys with some good information about this university. So there's no such thing as a silly question. I'm going to go into a presentation. I'm not going to necessarily fly through it, but I'm going to go through it at a pretty good rate so that we can talk and discuss any questions you might have, particularly as it pertains to Dr. Meek's vainglorious institution of higher ed, Prairie View A&M University, where we're both are part of the family. And then, of course, anything as far as the HBCU culture in general. I am a proud product 2 times, about to be 3. I am a graduate of one of the most historical HBCUs, Grambling State University, that is in Grambling, Louisiana. and of course, a graduate of Prairie View A&M University. I'm pursuing my second graduate degree in sports administration from sister institution, Delaware State, way over on the east side of the country. So without much further ado, we're going to get into this presentation so I can get some information to you guys. And of course, feel free to ask at the end, because that's one of the things I enjoy about these presentations, is engaging with you guys, answering questions, and guiding you the best that I can with information, again, regarding Prairie View and the HBCU culture that I'm proud to see that you guys are showing interest in. So again, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get into the presentation. All right, making sure we got proper audio. All right, Jeff, can you guys see it? Dr. Meeks, Brother Josh?
Everything looks great.
Everything looks great. Okay, all the other
Yep, can see just fine.
on board. Okay. All right, so actually let me go back because it just jumped. Okay, Prairie View A&M University. Of course, we are one of the oldest institutions in the history of the HBCUs. We are the second oldest institution of higher education in the state of Texas. So as the history goes, we were formed 146 years ago, and we are actually part of the Texas A&M system. So most of your larger traditional universities do have systems where they share collectively with other institutions in the state. And we are part of the Texas A&M system, the only HBCU in that system. Currently enrolled, and this was an interesting fact, during the midst of COVID, we actually had 9,500 students enrolled, guys. So that was both here attending courses on campus as well as attending their courses virtually. 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio. You're wondering about things to do as you matriculate through and go on to your college of completion. Well, we have 170 student organizations here at Prairie View that you can get involved in, and that does include the Divine Nine, which are our Greek fraternities and sororities. Of course, some of the grandest colors you'll ever see: royal purple and gold, our mascot, Panther Pete and Sasha. And again, we are privileged to have our first African-American woman president in the 146-year history of Prairie View, Dr. Ruth Simmons. To give you a brief synopsis of Dr. Simmons' background, she was the first African-American woman president of one of the Ivy League schools, which was Brown University, and she created tremendous change and advancement in Brown universities, as it was, and the Ivy League school still is. It's one of the top in conversation when you mention high quality education at the Ivy League level. And the same thing here at Prairie View A&M University. All right, let's get down to the brass tacks, guys. You're wondering the colleges and the majors that we offer here at Prairie View. Well, we have 7 colleges and 1 school. They are, for your interest, the College of Agriculture and Human Sciences. Yes, the A in Prairie View A&M is for agriculture. And yes, we do have a farm here. We actually broke ground on our own meat processing plant. And I'll give you a brief history as we progress along. Prairie View years ago was actually self-sustaining. And so we're getting back to what provided us as a good foundation with our roots, and going back into, especially in today's time, getting back more serious into the farming aspect and raising food, which is cattle as well as plant-based substances. The Brailsford College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Business, the College of Education. Yes, we do produce stellar educators. The Roy G. Perry College of Engineering. We are one of the top 10 HBCUs in engineering in the land. We are the top producer of African-American engineers in this region of the country. Of course, College of Juvenile Justice, for those of you that are future litigators. The School of Architecture. We are, at Prairie View A&M University, the #1 producer of African-American architects in the nation. And that's both amongst the HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, and the PWIs, which is regarded as predominantly white institutions. So we are the #1 producer of African-American architects in the nation. And of course, One of the other stellar programs we have, College of Nursing. We are one of the top 10 producers of African-American nurses in the HBCU culture, and we are the top producer of African-American nurses here in this region of the country. Of course, what you guys are here for, the transfer information. When you are interested, guys, go to, and I'll get all of this information to you, the State of Texas Common App. We are not part of the Common Black College app. The state of Texas has its own application portal for the Texas schools. So it's goapplytexas.org. Of course, the materials that you will need, you'll need, of course, your official transcript. A minimum to transfer, guys, all is needed is a 2.0, but I know you guys have far exceeded that at Portland Community College. You need a minimum of 15 transferable credit hours. And of course, we do offer stellar transfer scholarships, as you'll see as we progress through this presentation. We actually have the best scholarship program for transfer students in the state of Texas. Of course, good academic standing. That's, hey, I know you guys have that. Application fee, $40 when it comes to applying here to Prairie View University. Of course, at the transfer level, no fee waivers are available. Here's another critical point of information when it comes to applying. The fall priority date is March 1st. And as you notice, guys, we have a document deadline. We understand that processes can take a little longer than others. So when you apply for admissions into Prairie, if you're coming for fall priority, we want to make sure that we give you enough time to get certain documents in, because we do understand, again, sometimes processing and things just happen. So we are understanding of that because we want you here to become part of the Prairie View family. Regular fall admissions is July 1st. And again, you can see the document deadline is July 15th. Spring, for those of you that want to take a break and come in the spring, November 15th. And again, you have the document deadline to make sure all of your documents are in, which is December 1st. Now, once you get everything in, you will receive two notifications, one from Prairie View A&M University and the other from Applied Texas, which is the state admissions here to the Hill. And I'll ask Dr. Meeks to give you guys a history of how we became regarded as the Hill as we finish the presentation. So everything that you need to know, we will definitely correspond with you, and we take pride in doing that because, of course, information is key. And of course, this is what the application portal looks like when you begin receiving correspondence once you have submitted and completed your application. All right, here we go. Contact information for the admissions department. You see the number 936-261-1000, option 3. Send all your inquiries into the email address. And of course, what is provided is the physical address here to Prairie View A&M University for the admissions department. Okay, this is one thing that's definitely important, and we're proud that we have put and kicked into gear when it comes to you guys getting advice from your advisors. We do have the Texas Common Course numbering system. So as you can see the website below, you type in the courses that you're taking and you can see and make sure that they are common with the courses here in the state of Texas, and they are, keyword, transferable. What's the key word for today, guys? Transferable. So we provide that information for you. Of course, we are in the business to make sure that you get into school so that you can continue to build on being a productive citizen here in the country. So of course, that information will be provided to you guys as well. So when it comes to the online catalog, of course, it contains all of the programs, and that's the link to it, or in a simplistic form, PVAMU.edu, and you can get all of the information pertinent to the university on the website. But specifically, you want to get to the catalog, of course, you type in catalog.pvamu.edu and it'll take you straight and directly to that. Okay, new student orientation, another important aspect of the application process. We allow the students to become more familiar with the university. And for those that are of distance, such as you guys, and we are progressing to get back in to having it in person, of course, amidst what is it called? COVID scenario here in the country, but you can do it through the virtual platform. And of course, that is the checklist that you go through to make sure that you're submitting documents, you're touching base with key individuals such as your advisors here, making sure that they advise you accordingly, getting your housing and things like that in order. So we are with you literally every step of the way. And of course, financial aid, that's an important aspect. of course, funds which are provided to assist students and families to help pay for post-secondary educational expenses. And again, we do have resources which will help align you with proper funding for you to finish here at Prairie. And of course, making sure that you have your FAFSA updated with making sure that you have Prairie View A&M University listed as one of your schools of choice. Of course, you get to that website by fafsa.ed.gov. Okay, here are some important dates. The FAFSA application opens up, guys, October 1st. And of course, you have the school code, which is 003630 that you implement so that, of course, the information that you submit will be shared to us as one of your universities of choice. Make sure that you keep a good record of your student pen. One thing to be reiterated, re-implemented, repeated. Remember, when it comes to funding, guys, they're first come, first served, and they're based off of availability, and we will assist you in that aspect as well. Sometimes I tend to think we over correspond, but there's no such thing as not being able to inform your people when it comes to them coming to the university. So we go above and beyond to make sure we keep in constant contact with you guys when it comes to the admissions process. All right, you guys know how the grants work. They're separated by three different components: federal grants, which are provided by the government; state grants, which are provided by the state of Texas, particularly as it pertains to the universities and colleges here in the state of Texas; and institutional, which are also regarded as your organizational or third-party scholarships. So we are very much proud to assist you in all those aspects based off of your needs to make sure that you get the funding to secure your education when you transfer to. Of course, we all know about loans. Loans, as of the past couple of years, has gotten a definite bad call when it comes to financing for schools. One of the things that we do here at Prairie is make sure we keep you up to date and we ensure that you are financially literate when it comes to taking out student loans. If you do need to take out student loans, we will advise you to take out what you need, not what you want, what you need, because that's going to carry you far when it comes to any repayment that might be needed afterwards upon graduation. Of course, they're broken down into two. You have the Federal Direct and the Federal Direct Parent Plus. And as it reads, the Parent Plus is where your parents are the co-signers. And for the direct loans, they come in subsidized and unsubsidized form, which of course, the interest begins upon graduation 6 months after you graduate. With the subsidized and the unsubsidized, your interest starts accruing once you are accepting of the funding for your education. All right, here we go. The big money, big money. These are the scholarships that we offer our transfer students. And you can see that they are based off of two components: GPA and transferable credit hours. Of course, if you guys, and we always encourage that our students to be transferring to complete their associate's degree, which means, depending on what you're going into, your 60 degrees before you transfer so that you can get the maximum amount of scholarships that are available that you earned through Prairie View. Now remember, this is just a transfer scholarship. You still have other resources for scholarships that are available that we will assist you in here at Prairie View. And of course, you see the distinguished is a $3,600, a minimum of a 3.5 GPA with your AAAS or AAS. So, and that's how it usually rolls. And then it breaks down to specific credit hours that you transfer if you're not coming with a completed associate's degree, associates in science. So we make sure that we try to accommodate everybody based off of your academic need. And even if you're transferring with just 15 credit hours, we try to put a little something into your pocket to help you with some of the bills. So we even give you an incentive transfer of $1,000. And just remember, we will assist you and provide information with other scholarships that are available to you. And of course, the deadline is March 1st. You want to make sure that you are proactive in that regard. This is another component of our merit-based transfer scholarships. The Direct Connect is specifically designed for the Texas residents here in the state of Texas. So I'm not going to go over too much of that because you guys, of course, coming from the West Coast are ineligible to receive this unless you are a Texas resident. We can go into that when it comes to the application process to make sure that you are put on the list to receive that, providing that you have, of course, your residency status, and it can be validated through financial aid to receive such funding. All right, and again, additional scholarships, don't worry, we will assist you guys in providing resources for scholarships, and scholarships are available at every classification, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So don't worry about it. As long as you have grades withstanding, we can assist you in acquiring funds to pay for your tuition. As you can see how they're broken down departmentally, which means, of course, if you're going into the College of Engineering, the College of Engineering for its engineering students has scholarships available. If you're going into nursing, the College of Nursing has scholarships available, the School of Architecture, of course, and so forth and so on. Again, those institutional ones are other scholarships provided by Prairie View A&M University. And of course, third party, those other organizations, it could be the Divine Nine, Omega Psi Phi, Kappa Alpha Psi, AKA, it could be one of the big box corporations, it could be Google, it could be Tesla. Any of those scholarships, we will help you obtain, and we do accept them here at Prairie View A&M University. Okay, and this is the contact information for financial aid, 936-261-1000. Option is 1. You do have the email for your inquiry. We are on social media, so that is another pathway to communicate with the financial aid department. Of course, you see the hours of operation. All right, student life. Let's talk fun now. We've gone over the serious aspect of it. Look, you're coming here for the family environment. Proud to be able to provide that environment and the support mechanisms needed for you to graduate a proud, productive Panther. Can I get an amen, Dr. Meeks, on that one? So when it comes to getting involved, we have plenty of things for you. Remember, over 170 organizations that you can become involved with. And one thing that we're proud to state when it comes to our students and the HBCU culture, say you're looking for an organization and it's not that 171st, but you have yourself and 9 other friends who are serious about creating that organization. Well, far be it from us to stop or restrict you from becoming the best you that you can be. You can create an organization or club. Make sure you have, again, it's about 10 of you guys and a faculty advisor, and we can put that in the form your own organization. We are regarded, and this is going even through COVID, progressing through it. We are still the #1 HBCU, as you see, career services, that when you guys get here and you take advantage of your opportunities, meaning co-ops, internships, travel or study abroad, you will graduate already employed, making the most in your industry. We are currently still, and we have been that status for about 4 years. And I've been here at Prairie View for 8 years. For about 4 years, we have been the #1 HBCU out of all 105. That when you guys get here and you put in the work, we go above and beyond to make sure that you are career ready. Notice I didn't say job, career ready, and you will be employable and employed when you graduate. Of course, community engagement, counseling services, of course, what you discuss with counseling stays with you and your counselors, and they are our professors who have doctorate degrees in mental health. So what you guys talk about stays with you guys, okay? So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. Everything that you need, if you're coming with veterans benefits, we happily accept those. Actually, the basis of Prairie View is military base. So we have recreational things for you. We do get our parents involved in the students' lives. It's like, if you think about it, it's like a collegiate PTA. We want the parents involved because, again, you're coming from your family dynamic and we're welcoming you to ours. So we want everybody involved to make sure that you get what you need emotionally, spiritually, physically to graduate to become a productive person. All right, here we go. Let's talk sports. We were talking about it prior to you guys coming on. We are a Division I school, a Division I university. We are a member of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, commonly known as the SWAC. And of course, one of our sister institutions, Jackson State University, has a celebrity coach, and he actually knows what he's doing, guys. Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has been causing a lot of good disruptions bring a lot of exposure to HBCU. So, we got some good things going on. We've added 2 family members to the SWAC that are migrating from the MEAC, which are Florida A&M universities, those Rattlers, and Bethune-Cookman. So we are now a 12-team athletic conference, which makes us an FCS conference. So we're proud of that. And actually, as we were discussing prior to you guys getting here, the team just left to go to play Jackson State at Jackson, Mississippi in the SWAC championship. So we're kind of excited about that. Scholarships are available upon compression. So in case you are seeking scholarships athletically to play competitively, hey, we got those for you, but the scholarships will be based on coaches' needs, okay? We are an Adidas sponsored school, and yes, we look marvelous when we're playing. The athletics for the young ladies: basketball, bowling, cross country, golf, soccer, softball, tennis, track and field, and volleyball. And for the guys, basketball, baseball, cross country, of course, football, golf, tennis, and track and field. Now, a lot of my nephews inquire about soccer. We don't have a competitive soccer team as far as NCAA is called, but we do have club sports that you guys can engage in, okay? Okay, here we go. Where do you guys stay? One of the most frequent questions that I get asked is, well, Mr. St. Clair, what do the dorms look like? And I say, with all the love in my heart, I don't know. We don't have dorms here at Prairie View. We have apartment style living, as you can see from those awesome pictures on the presentation. Yes, those are real facilities. It's not something that I've cut and paste and used Adobe to make it look good. That's actually what our housing looks like. That's particularly at the University Square here at Prairie View, where a lot of our transfer students are housed. And you have 3 different components of rooms that you can choose from. You can have a 2-bedroom layout, a 3-bedroom, or a 4-bedroom configuration. Of course, you see the website right there at the bottom to check it out. And even some of our students have posted what they've done to their rooms as far as decorations on YouTube. So, we got some pretty good living arrangements here. Of course, this is the layout for the 2-bedroom, the floor plan for University Square. As you can see, you have a full kitchen, a living room. Each student has their own bathroom, guys, with your bed. So even if you're in the 4, I believe not with the 4, you don't have a bathroom for every room, but you have 2 bathrooms per 2 of the bedrooms. Okay. Contact information, of course, for housing. As you can see, the phone number is to the left of the screen. And of course, University Square, always feel free, guys, to inquire when it comes to your housing, because one of the aspects of success, other than making sure financially you're good, is making sure that you are comfortable in a home environment. So we want to make sure that we do satisfy both of those, because again, our job here is to get you to graduation. Of course, the contact information, you see it. And of course, we try to stay up on social media because that is the trend. You have the freshman brochure if you're interested. And of course, the transfer brochure, all you have to do is scan it with the QR code, and our social media tags are available right there as well. If you missed it, don't worry about it. I will get this information to the guys, to the gals, to make sure that you have all the information. I will leave my contact information. Hey, it's a family affair. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. We can also set up chats. And if you guys are in the area, if you're in Texas, always the extension of our purple and gold hand is extended to you. Definitely feel free to stop by the campus. Of course, you can do a virtual campus tour, pvamu.edu. It's on there. Type in campus tours in the search box. Or if you're just stopping by, because we are a state institution, you can always stop by, walk around. We have that frequently. We might not be able to give you a reserved campus tour. That's why you look it up, because we do have reservations that you can make to RSVP to come. And one of my students, your cousins, your nieces and nephews here, my nieces and nephews will gladly take you around the campus and show you everything that's good here in the meadows and the flowing hills of purple and gold. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I want to thank you for allowing me into your office, living room, kitchen, or wherever you are viewing this about Prairie View. And that's it. Any questions, you guys? Questions.
St. Clair, I got thank you for that. That was a great presentation. I got a couple questions. I don't want to capitalize on everyone's time though.
Right.
So what kind of, you know, what kind of online programs you guys have? Do you have anything that's fully online?
The only courses that we offer, that's a good question, Brother Josh. Only courses that we offer fully online would be our graduate courses. We do offer in some aspects of the colleges and the schools, certain courses. And of course, that was due amidst the adjustment that we had to make during it. And they're working on it, but as of now, concretely, no, they don't just have courses that are specifically virtual, because even going amongst that, they had it situated where if you were attending courses remotely during COVID, they had situated it where you were taking the virtual courses with the anticipation, you know, the following semester, you would be back here on campus.
Gotcha. And I got a nursing specific question, because I'm tied to the healthcare pathway here at PCC, so I do a lot of nursing work. Can you talk a bit about your nursing program? I'm really curious, like how competitive it is to get in, because here on the whole West Coast corridor, it's like ridiculously competitive to get into nursing programs. I would flat out tell students, look, if you can look outside of the state, outside of Oregon, like to anywhere that's less competitive, like do that, right, and get in faster. Yeah, can you talk about your nursing program?
Yeah, awesome question. And I'll be sure and remind me, and I'll send you specific information, and we can set up nursing sessions for you too, Brother Josh. So just feel free to let me know.
That'd be great, yeah.
Dean, and we can set that up. But our nursing school, as you mentioned, it is competitive. We are competitive here in the state of Texas. Again, we are the top producer of African Americans in this region. So we are competitive. We are actually highly competitive with our traditional universities. So a lot of students say they look at Baylor, say they look at Texas A&M, they look at U of H because of it being a big box university. They look at us because we are a smaller school, we are a medium-sized school, and we are still highly competitive. But the rigor of getting in as far as the application is a little less strenuous than it would be for the big box schools. Again, we are highly competitive because we are the top nursing program in this region. Per fall, we only accept 250 students, and that's nationally. So even the students here in the state of Texas, you do have to come with good grades and your test scores to get in. And one of the good things I always like to express to students, if you're considering nursing when it comes to Prairie View compared to our big box cousins, good thing about it is when you get into school, and let's say you don't have the stellar high 3-point GPAs, the good thing about Prairie View is when you get in, of course, you need to get into that mindset you're going to be one of the best because they accept the best. We need you to rock out your freshman and your sophomore year because you are actually planning on becoming a nurse, which means you have your freshman and your sophomore year to blow your classes out. But in that, Brother Josh, you are still preparing for the state exam to apply for nursing school. So you still got the ball out. This gives you an opportunity if you didn't come in, let's say where you were needed or where you thought at a 3.5, a 3.3, you have your freshman and your sophomore year to make that up. Because one thing I like to provide a comfort level with students. Getting you in is one of the tricky parts because of course you need a minimum of a 2.8 GPA. And this is from the freshman standpoint, you need a minimum 2.8 GPA on a 4.0 unweighted scale. When you're transferring in, even if you didn't go to a big box school, your mindset should still be the same. I need you to ball out because nursing is unlike business. It's a specialty field, which you know particularly as well as I do in medicine. So while you're there, you still need to ball out. I still need exceptional grades because you are competing with the Texas residents, regional residents, and again, national residents. And we only take 250 students per fall semester. So it's not
it's
even
like 10 times what we take. It's
yeah. So
you say only, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. So.
Okay, I didn't know if that was a good number or not. Because
no, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, when I tell my students here, they're like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." So yeah, we take 250 students every fall. So it is highly competitive. But if you're on the ball, and I'm assuming, and I don't assume you're going into the medical profession, you already know the type of grades you need to bring me. Period, point blank. So yeah, and I'll definitely be happy, and Dean will be definitely happy to set up a session and specifically for your nursing students. So yeah, we can get that together for you guys. But yeah, when it comes to nursing, we are highly competitive, but of course we understand the impact, particularly here in Texas, of nursing needs. And of course, it's a need for nurses right now nationally. So they're kind of accommodating it. You just got to make sure you're one of those 250. So yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you for that. Yeah.
No problem. No problem at all. And we do have, when you go into the common core systems, Brother Josh, it does let you know which cores are accepted, and I'll email you our grid that you can go by so you can kind of see, okay, math 1200 is still the same as math 1400, calculus, organic biology, everything is still the same across the board. I just need my students to ball out and prepare for the state exam, because you do have to apply after your sophomore year to be accepted into nursing school. But of course, we advise you straight through that.
Hey, Brother Hayward, we got a question in the chat.
Yes, sir.
And please correct me if I mispronounce your name, but Zani Turner asked, they noticed on the website that PV has a theater arts program, and they would like to know, are they able to transfer their theater credit courses from PCC to Prairie View?
That's a good question. That goes back to the lettering or the common numbering system, Dr. Meeks. What you have to do is sit down with that student and input the information, and it'll let you know where to transfer. And of course, with theater, that's one of those interesting slippery slopes. So based off of what you're taking, it will transfer. But of course, I'm not going to speak into it because I'm not that familiar with the theater arts, because that program is actually being restructured, which I'm glad to see, because for a minute there, we were a little dormant when it comes to theater arts, but they're redoing it, and they're redoing it big. So that's where the Texas Common Course numbering system will come into play, Dr. Meeks. So sit down with that student, and I can always offer help after that and get them to an advisor that can help further them with that information. But that's a good question.
All right, thank you, Zane, on that question. I do have a question, St. Clair, for, in regards to going back to like the transfer credits. As I shared with you before, PCC, we operate off the quarter system. You mentioned 15 credits. So like, I have a question for our students, like how would that affect them? Like, does that shift a little bit for students coming in from the quarter term? And in addition to that, are there any particular classes you're looking for in those 15 credits?
That's a good question. I'm waiting on one of my advisors and my director, Colonel Pearson, kind to get me up to point when it comes to how quarter system schools information transfers to semester. So I can't go into that because I'm still unfamiliar, but what I'll do is once I get the information, because that's something, again, that I'm totally unfamiliar with, even though I'm familiar with schools on a quarter basis, how that transfer would affect and how they calculate it. Actually, I'll tell you right now, I'll set up, when we come back in the spring, I'll set up another call with you guys with one of my advisors so they can actually go through that with you, because that's something that I'm interested in learning as well as we increase our transfer numbers and understand schools are on a quarter platform like you guys are, and some are on the semester platform. So I will definitely get that information. And we can set that call up as well, because I'm still learning that one as well. All I can say is to provide you assurance, your advisor will be there hand in hand, like the one I'm going to get for us, to instruct you what needs to be done and how the quarter system will transfer and equate to what we're looking for on a semester platform. So I'll get that information. And actually, that's some good reading. I'm looking forward to learning on my end.
No, just from my own experience, because I came from semester myself and I had to get used to the quarter system, and I've seen how credits transfer in and around. Mm-hmm. Generally, it's about 4 quarter credits to 3 semester credits. Not all the time, but that's generally the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get that information and get myself in the know. And then when we set it up for the spring, I'll definitely have one of my stellar advisors come on and actually break it down. That's double emphasis. Anytime somebody uses double emphasis, it's serious. So they can break it down to us. Good question. Oh, and when it comes to scholarships, I always add this bit of information. Again, scholarships are available at every level as you matriculate. Feel free to ask, okay? Because we are in, again, as you heard me say, we're in the business of making sure you guys are adequately supplied with what you need here. So if scholarships or what you need, feel free to ask. That's what we do. And I know personally, I try to go above and beyond to help students get the funding that they need, because I understand what it's like, because I'm still paying back student loans. So trust me, if I can help curb that from somebody else, let's talk about it. Be sure to ask questions. I can give you a listing of the scholarships that are available. And to keep it quick, this is what I always tell students. If you're thinking about scholarships, because we consume so many different products and services, look to some of those favorite companies or corporations that you get products or services from. A lot of them offer scholarships. You have to visit the site, and it's in a seen, unseen type of a way. You might have to look under community development tab, back to the community resources, other, giving back. So they do offer funding and scholarships for students, of course. And if you are working currently as a student and you have a job, check with the organization that you work with to see if they have funding available, because most of them in today's era are supportive of their students pursuing higher education. And that's an important thing. But we will help you when it comes to funding and scholarships to acquire the necessary funds needed to transfer. But again, as they say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. You don't have to worry about feeling indifferently. That's what we're here for. That's one of the advantages of an HBCU. Historically, we are here to help those that want a quality education get that. So whatever you need, guys, feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. That's what we are here for at HBCU, because again, the environment that you're going to be accepted into is a family environment. We're not going to promote anything that will harm you. We're going to be protective of you. We're going to encourage you. We're going to motivate you. If you step out of line, we'll chastise you like family, but we're going to keep it moving, because our main mode is to make sure that you graduate as a productive person, get out here and do what you want to do in your career, entrepreneurially, professionally, so that you can become the best you that you can be. So trust me, we got you covered on that aspect. Anything that you can dream of outside of the box, make sure you bring it with you, because we're here to make sure, again, we develop you into greatness. But you got to ask. You can't read minds. And my force, being that I'm coming off the road, my Jedi mind is a little tired right now, so I just can't see what you might need, but we can always communicate, and my door is always open here on the campus. So just letting you know about that family environment, and I'm gonna continue to promote it. And Dr. Meeks, I'm sure, has my back when I'm saying this is where you want to be, the HBCU culture, because we got you in mind when it comes to success.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not saying this you all because I graduated from Prairie View. It's a lot of what Mr. St. Clair says is true. It is a family environment. We don't have to go into that regarding my experience, because that will take time and talk about me. So
we'll set that up in another chat, Doc. We'll set that up in another one.
Right. But in the sense of this being a viable option for students to transfer to continue their educational and career aspirations, absolutely, please consider it. And consider the fact too, you have an alumnus of the school right here at TCC as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions. Also, just about the experience, what it's like as a student. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jeff, Mr. St. Clair. And if anyone still has any questions, feel free to ask. But Jeff, I'm going to turn it back over to you, brother. And always a pleasure, Mr. St. Clair. And glad to have you here with us.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime.
How's it going, Mr. St. Clair? My name is Makirusa Procasano, coordinator for the Savannah Multicultural Center. I do have a quick question. So those apartment buildings that are the dorms, but not
Yes,
dorms,
sir.
apartment buildings.
You watch it. Watch it.
Around when you were in school, because Dr. Meeks made it sound like he was suffering when he was over.
Nah, look, that's a good question, my brother. That's a good question. That's what they look like now.
Now, right.
Now, back when we were all in school, they might have been dorms, but as of now, it's apartment style living. And actually, the way we keep it historical, a lot of the office buildings, the building I'm in is a former dorm. Of course, I'll ask Dr. Meeks to give you a tour out of a tour of that. But yeah, that's what the housing looked like. And even, like I said, I've been here for 8 years. So it's always been apartment style living. So a lot of the more progressive universities have switched over for that. They kept the dorms, but they're now most often office buildings to keep with the heritage of the university. But yeah, that's truly how we house our students. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I will say, like, the apartment style housing that came on as I was transitioning out of Prairie View. So you know, I mean, I got about a year, maybe a year and a half to experience it, but it came on like right around the 2000s, actually. You know, that's when it first came on. So you know, and since then, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. St. Clair, but Prairie View was probably, in my eyes, Prairie View was the first institution to really dive into that concept, you know, of apartment style housing, you know, because they just found it more conducive to what the students were seeking at the time.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because it goes along with, again, the comfort level. And, you know, you can pull up stats, and I always tell students, when you visit the campus, your decision is made upon the vibe that you feel. If you're comfortable, if your finances are taken care of, you're going to be a successful student that graduates. It's different between somebody who went to school and somebody that graduated from school. So we want to make sure, as you say, we provide an environment conducive to you to feel comfortable with the diverse student body we have. We have over 40 countries represented. Because it's an HBCU, we are based deep in history, not just of the African-American diaspora, but of people in general. So why not? Because you're going to get to know who you are as far as your historical standpoint, because once you know your history, you can go progressively further and faster because you know who you are and what you represent. So yeah, we provide that environment, and I'm proud to be a product of it. So, but yeah, apartment style living. And usually when I say that, I do to let you know that's how we roll, you know. And look, and speaking of that, it coincides when it comes to the cafeteria. We actually have chefs that prepare the meals. So even if you're playing, we have that accommodation for you. If you are like a serious meat eater, we have that. We have actually different stations that are set up thematically or culturally, where you can get a wide range of diversified food choices. So again, we try to make sure that this environment is a progressive learning environment, but one that you can consider as home, because a lot of students actually stay over the break. And that brings me to say, even amidst COVID, we were one of the few schools that didn't kick students out. They were still here on campus if they couldn't go home due to whatever situation they had at home. So that just kind of shows you the vibe that we promote here at Prairie View.
That's it. And I want to thank the committee, Dr. Meeks, Rachel Dixon, Rachel Blackill, Eder, just everyone for making this, you know, this entire panel series, you know, come to fruition, and we got it off the ground. And so thank you, everyone. And once again, thank you, Mr. St. Clair, for this presentation today. But thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And this concludes our series. So take care, everyone, and good night.
Everybody take care.